what you doing here?
I'm redistributing the wealth. I learned in school spreading the wealth is good for everyone.
Well, I learned from real life that it's not. In fact, there's a word for it. It's called theft.
The stimulus plan is one of the great hoaxes of all time.
Pay as you go, no new deficit spending.
Congress wanted to spend $1 trillion with interest. They agreed. They didn't even take the time to read the bill. They passed it into law.
We have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
It all comes down to this. Remember, it's your money they're spending.
Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
The Tea Party movement is a manifestation of conservatives have been pushed too hard for too long.
Tired of the people in Washington thinking that we work for them?
I've been a little amused where people have been having these rallies. You would think they would be saying thank you.
The problem with socialism is that sooner or later you run out of other people's money.
We could say they spend like drunken sailors, but that would be unfair to drunken sailors because the sailors are spending their own money.
The question, whether government is too big or too small, is really vital to the nation.
We all know from our own experience that if you live beyond your means today, by necessity you'll have to live below your means tomorrow. That's the tomorrow that we're creating for our nation.
How do we sustain and pay for the program?
It is fiscal child abuse.
Is there any doubt that they will raise our taxes, that they will make government bigger than ever, and deficits even worse?
Yeah, go us!
I would say Obama's economic and domestic policies have been disastrous.
What we've seen is a slowdown in economic expansion.
We are fiscally hemorrhaging, and we need to do something about it.
Politicians are not listening to the people.
You have to make your voice heard. It does still work.
In the end, 305 million people each have a moral responsibility to God to help this country remain the freest in the world.
I Want Your Money, a controversial look at government spending, coming this fall.
Hi, I'm from the government, and we're kind of running out of money. We'd like you to know that we'll be needing some of your future earnings.
Well, to be honest, things are a little tight around here lately.
So we've determined that according to your age, we'll need approximately $46,000, and we'll give you 60 years to pay that off. You can do that with one easy payment per year of $766, or if you'd like, $63 a month, not including interest, of course.
Are you nuts? I'll be 85 in 60 years. I can't afford another $63 a month. Besides, we've already paid our taxes.
I wasn't talking to you.
The title to my special order tonight is Current Conditions or Just a Bad Dream. Could it all be a bad dream or a nightmare? Is it my imagination, or have we lost our minds? It's surreal. It's just not believable. A grand absurdity, a great deception, a delusion of momentous proportions. Based on preposterous notions and on ideas whose time should never have come. Simplicity, grossly distorted and complicated. Insanity, passed off as logic. Grandiose schemes built on falsehoods with the morality of Ponzi and Madoff. Evil described as virtue. Ignorance pawned off as wisdom. Destruction and impoverishment in the name of humanitarianism. Violence, the tool of change. Preventive wars used as a road to peace. Tolerance delivered by government guns. Reactionary views in the guise of progress. An empire replacing the republic. Slavery sold as liberty. Excellence and virtue traded for mediocrity. Socialism to save capitalism. A government out of control. Unrestrained by the Constitution, the rule of law, or morality. Bickering over petty politics as into chaos. The philosophy that destroys us is not even defined. We have broken from reality, a psychotic nation, ignorance with a pretense of knowledge replacing wisdom. Money does not grow on trees, nor does prosperity come from a government printing press or escalating deficits. We're now in the midst of unlimited spending of the people's money, exorbitant taxation, deficits of trillions of dollars spent on a failed welfare warfare system, an epidemic of cronyism, unlimited supplies of paper money equated with wealth, a central bank that deliberately destroys the value of the currency in secrecy, without restraint, without nary a whimper. Yet, cheered on by the pseudo-capitalists of Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, and Detroit, we police our world empire with troops on 700 bases and in 130 countries around the world. A dangerous war now spreads throughout the Middle East and Central Asia. Thousands of innocent people being killed as we become known as the torturers of the 21st century. We assume that by keeping the already known torture pictures from the public's eye, we will be remembered only as a generous and good people. If our enemies want to attack us only because we are free and rich, proof of torture would be irrelevant. The sad part of all this is that we have forgotten what made America great, good, and prosperous. We need to quickly refresh our memories and once again reinvigorate our love, understanding, and confidence in liberty. The status quo cannot be maintained considering the current conditions. Violence and lost liberty will result without some revolutionary thinking. We must escape from the madness of crowds now gathering. The good news is the reversal is achievable through peaceful and intellectual means, and fortunately, the number of those who care are growing exponentially. Of course, it could all be a bad dream, a nightmare, and that I'm seriously mistaken, overreacting, and that my worries are unfounded. I hope so, but just in case, we ought to prepare ourselves for revolutionary changes in the not-too-distant future. I yield back the balance of my time.